Hello.
Hello.
And as promised, we are on the side of the Tor at the Eggstone. I have to say it was quite a clamber to get up here, wasn't it?
Yes, it's quite overgrown with lots of nettles and pricklies and all sorts.
And it's steep as well. Actually, have no idea how we're going to get down.
No.
Might be on our bums, but we'll deal with that. We'll deal with that later.
Oh, we might have to go up instead.
We might do.
Yeah,
We might just be here all night.
Yeah.
We'll see. Anyway, we're here today, this evening, to talk to you about the rune Ingwaz, or Ingwaz as it's sometimes known, which is its Germanic name. In Anglo-Saxon it's simply Ing, and it's not actually in the younger Futhark. So this is the 22nd rune in the Futhark, it's the 21st rune in the Uthark. So we're getting towards the end of the Futhark and Uthark now. Now this rune came into its runic half month on the 14th of May and runs through until the 28th of May. So we only have a few more days while this rune is actually in its power. On the wheel we've just gone past the southeastern point now. So we're heading towards the summer solstice, which is at the very southernmost point on the wheel. And really we're at that time of year where the energy is really working its way up to that peak of the summer solstice. So everywhere we look it's green. We're looking out across a beautiful Somerset landscape. We've got a beautiful view from up here on the side of the Tor, and everywhere you look it's green, it's lush and it's fertile. So this rune is another one which has a god name, that is the god Ing. Now this is associated with the god Frey, obviously Freyr's brother. Now Frey isn't actually a name, it's a title. In the same way as Freya means lady, Frey means lord. So we're talking about Ingvar Freyr or Ingvar Freyr, and it's suggested that the full title might be Ingvar Freyr in Frothy, which basically means Lord Ing the Fruitful. So he's a Vanir god, and as we know the Vanir gods are older than the Aesir. They're gods of fertility, they're gods of sexuality, they're gods of witchcraft. And really since we got to the point of Bacana at the spring equinox, we've had a lot of runes which all have associations with fertility, sexuality and witchcraft. We're in a real kind of Vanir section of the wheel. So I'm going to read to you the only rune poem we have, which comes from the Anglo-Saxons. Ing was first among the East Danes, seen by men until afterwards eastward. Over the wave he departed, his chariot ran after him. Thus the Ingwaz called this hero. So how do we interpret this rune poem? We could interpret it fairly literally, so that the cult of Frey moved eastwards and the ritual chariot associated with this cult was also moved to a different centre. So, you know, we could interpret it literally like that, or perhaps it has a more obscure meaning. Now, Tacitus tells us in great length about the way that the goddess Nerthus, who, as we know, her name is exactly, it means Njord, who's obviously Frey and Freyr's father, how she was worshipped by the Germanic tribes, who would have her on a ritual chariot. They basically have a statue of the goddess, which they would parade around, take around all the villages, and whenever she came to a village everybody would lay down their weapons and there'd be a time of peace. So we know that the chariots are strongly associated with the Vanir gods, and actually the symbol of the chariot goes right back to Bronze Age depictions. So here we are looking at a really ancient god, and it's quite possible that this god could be one of the most ancient gods that there are. So if we also remember back to Manars, we said that Manars had 3 sons, and one of them was the progenitor of the Ingvones, which was one of the great Germanic tribes. So here again, Ingvones, Ing, you know, these would have been the people of Ing. And And back in Sweden, before the Christians had their way, there were lots and lots of what we call in this country menhirs, very large phallic shaped standing stones, which would have been all over the landscape. So I kind of think it's interesting that we live in England. Now, I know that everybody, the scholars will say that isn't what the name is about, but if you can imagine, we still have a fair few standing stones in this country.
Yeah.
But back in the day, there would have been loads and loads of them. So if these people travelled across the sea and came to a land which was covered in phallic-shaped standing stones, maybe they'd have thought this is the land of England.
England.
So it's a theory, and in the Ynglinga saga, which Snorri wrote about in the Prose Edda, it's the story of the Ynglings, or the Swedish royal family, and they are all believed to have descended from this god Ing, or Ingvar Freyr. And it's actually said by Bede that the Anglo-Saxons in this country were descended from Woden. So the royal lineage would always claim kind of divine ancestry. So we're going to have a look now. You've got my statue. This is a little statue that I've had a long time, since I used to do Viking reenactment many years ago. There you go. There is Frey. And as you can see, he has a very large erect phallus. Words I never thought I'd say on a YouTube video, but I just have. So it's clear that this is a god of male fertility. I don't think there can be any doubt about that whatsoever, do you?
No, it's pretty clear to me.
It's pretty obvious that that's what's going on here. So in Swedish, we're being interrupted by children now.
No planes tonight.
No planes, just children. Anyway, let's forget about those. So in Swedish, the word yngling kind of means a young virile man. So here we're talking about real kind of potent male energy here. Now the rune can actually represent sperm. So we're talking about a kind of a contained energy, that kind of active energy which is contained, but it is all potential. It's seed energy, and that's one of the reasons that we've come to the egg stone tonight. There is another reason we'll talk about in a minute, but it's that kind of contained, it's that seed energy. It hasn't been activated yet, it needs to be activated. And there's also no doubt that Ing was also a god of fire, but more specifically a god of the hearth. And the very old English word Ingelnook could have meant the nook of the god Ing. So here we see a god associated with fire, sacred fire, but also of hearths. Now, throughout witchcraft, the hearth has always been kind of a very sacred place. And I think it's easy for us as modern day humans to underestimate the power that fire would have had on our early ancestors. The discovery of fire enabled them to cook meat and to develop, in ways that they had never done before.
Or to keep warm and keep safe from wild animals.
You can't even imagine a world without fire, can you? So, it's I kind of cannot prove this, but it is of course possible that this god could be so ancient that it goes right back to the days of early man discovering fire. And I often think the word ing, it's such a simple word, isn't it? It's just a real simple sound, ing. So it's possible that it could be really, could have really very ancient roots here. So we're looking at the contained sacred fire. We're talking about gestation again, and here it makes me think about Bacana back at the spring equinox, which again said was a very contained rune, and we'll look at this rune in a minute. So effectively it's cooking. You've got something in the pot, you're cooking it, and you're not bringing it out, you're not manifesting it until the time is ready. So it can kind of be a phase of rest, of things going on internally. You know, it's that kind of, it's got the potential, but it hasn't yet been manifested. So it's active internal growth. So think, you know, this is a creative masculine energy, whereas Bacana was kind of your archetypical mother goddess energy. This is your very male creative energy here. So let's have a quick look at the shape. I'll give you Frey. Now there's actually two forms of this. The form in the Elder Futhark and the Anglo-Saxon. I've got both here. So this is the Futhark or Uthark version. There you go. You can see what I mean about it being contained. And then we've got the Anglo-Saxon one, which is there. So we're talking about almost like a cauldron, kind of putting things into the cauldron, cooking them within. But don't you think that this one reminds you of a DNA?
Yeah, the DNA
structure.
Yeah.
So again, you know, that kind of relates back to this whole seed, sperm kind of thing that's going on here. Yeah. So this rune can be used to intensify other runes. So you can effectively use it in a bind rune. You can put other runes into it to kind of cook them together and make them work, kind of bind them together.
And you also have other runes contained in the shape.
Yes, yeah, of course, yeah. So it's interesting, and that's another reason that I wanted to come to the Eggstone tonight. I have absolutely no idea whether there's any truth in this whatsoever, but I have heard people say it's a portal to the realm of the Fae, and this rune, or rather this rune, can be used as a portal for astral journeying, for shamanic journeying. I sometimes like to mark this on a piece of paper or something and lay on it when I do shamanic journeys. It can kind of acts as a portal. It's a portal into the other worlds. So once again, another interesting rune to add to the many other interesting runes that we've looked at from around the Glastonbury area. So sun's starting to go down now, the wind's getting up.
Yeah, although it has been a really warm day here in the land of Ing.
It has, in Ing's land.
Ing's
land. It's been absolutely cooking today. We're not used to
lovely.
it.
No.
We all moan about it being cold. The sun comes out and we moan about it being too hot.
Yeah, we've been wearing our vests today and summer dresses and
had our arms out,
whatnot. Legs out, everything.
I haven't. I can't get used to the fact that it's not cold anymore. I've still got my boots on.
Well, as always, I'm here to give you a little overview as to what's happening in the sky, and tonight is no exception. And as you were talking about the rune, and we're talking about seeds and something being contained, I thought this is just absolutely perfect and wonderful. It just
we've done it again.
We've done it again. Every time the runes and the astrology fit in together so beautifully, you can't help but think that the ancestors worked with the astrology of the time and the runes in conjunction. I have no way to prove this, but I totally believe that that was the case. So what I'm talking about is the new moon, of course. So it is the new moon in Gemini tonight as we speak. It is 20:08 here in the UK, and the new moon is exact at 9:15.
Okay,
so
soon
it's very, very soon. So the conjunction, the exact conjunction between the sun and the moon is happening as we speak, at least here in the UK. And as I said before, the new moon tonight is in Gemini at 4 degrees of Gemini. It's an interesting new moon in the way that it doesn't make any major planetary aspects. So in a way, it's kind of it's not influenced by any other planetary energies. So it's working in its purest form. And what is Gemini about? Gemini is about all forms of communication. Anything from the written form to the verbal to networking on the internet. So it's all sorts of exchanges, downloading information between realms. So yeah, this is the themes of that we work with when we have a Gemini new moon. And as we all know, new moons are about beginnings, a fresh start, the launch of new projects. So when we talk about the new moon, in astrology we refer to it as planting seeds. Okay. So it's just so appropriate that we're talking about Ingwaz tonight, and it's the seed energy. Seed energy. It's really, really powerful. We all know that that's one of the most powerful stages of growth. When the seed first is first planted, then it's in gestation. It's in in its purest form, and it's dark. In the womb, it's contained. So it takes a great amount of energy for it to grow and to break through the ground. And this is what's happening with the new moon. We are planting the seeds of all the themes that have to do with Gemini, which is communicating, networking. So if you might find yourself writing lots of letters at the moment, applying for jobs, anything that has to do with technology or communication. Sorry, I just got a bit distracted. There are people around here, and it's kind of unexpected.
We might have to cut and carry on in a minute.
Yeah. Okay, so we're back. We're back.
We just had some tourists come and disturb us. Asked us if we were waiting for rabbits. Do we look like we're waiting for rabbits?
Sorry about that. I got completely thrown off course, and I started rambling a bit. I just didn't expect people to come so close to where we're filming.
Normally the gods kind of keep people away, don't they?
But
I guess it is a summer evening in Glastonbury, and we are in one of the prime visiting spots. So
yes, exactly.
It's generally why we avoid the top of the Tor in the summer, isn't it?
Yes,
we don't
absolutely.
like people. You lot, of course.
I was talking about the Gemini new moon, and that this is the prime time to work with all those Gemini themes that have to do with communication, networking. You might find yourself that at the moment you're writing letters, applying for jobs, doing all sorts of things that require attention, but also you're trying to settle yourself or to establish yourself in the local community, because Gemini is also about establishing oneself in the local community. So it's about making your mark. But also,
I've kind of been doing that today. Going around shops with my laces drum and trying to say, look at me, I'm an artist. Buy my stuff.
Exactly. You're kind of you're trying to publicize your work and.
I've been doing that loads recently. It's actually worked quite nicely recently. Maybe that kind of energy has been helping me in that, has it? Would you say?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think for me as well, today I have been doing lots of kind of admin type of work and filling in forms. So anything that has to do with communicating and spreading messages and spreading your work in case your art, then establishing yourself in the community, in your local community especially. All those are things that are favoured by the new moon. But also you're kind of trying to set intentions as to what you want to manifest. We always have like 28 days window, which is the lunar month, to manifest something. So we have until the next new moon, which is around the 23rd of June, just after the summer solstice.
Did you know what the Anglo-Saxons called May?
No.
Thrimilky.
Oh.
Yeah, that's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah. Sounds a bit like the Milky Way.
Yeah, I can't even say it the second time. Thrimilky. Yeah. Sorry, just a bit of...
No, that's interesting. That's really interesting. So also, obviously, because we are in that phase where you're planting seeds and you're trying to get things off the ground, then perhaps don't expect things to be revealed completely straight away. It takes a couple of weeks for the energy to start working and showing itself. So today and for the next 2 weeks is all about planting those seeds, tending to those seeds, and also aligning with what you want to manifest. Okay. For example, if you want to promote your artwork, your drums, your paintings, then the next couple of weeks is the time to go around the shops in Glastonbury and show people and say, here we are, I'm an artist, there's my business card, and etc. And the same for anything that you do. It doesn't have to be art or painting. If you want a new job, then now is the time to start looking. It's a really powerful time, the new moon, as long as you align with what you want to manifest and work with that energy. Also, work with focus. We are coming to a really close opposition between Mars and Saturn. So there's a lot of energy. Mars has this desire to get going, to do things, to get things off the ground, and Saturn provides the structure, the discipline, and the hard work. So at the moment you are rearing to get going, and you can do it in a focused, controlled way, which is all really positive and always yields good results. What we have today as well is a really really close, tight square between Venus and Pluto at 19 degrees. So this might throw a spanner in the works in the way that, when we talk about Pluto transits, it's never really easy and it's never straightforward. But they're always really positive as well, because there's transformation to be had from transits with Pluto. In this case, when it makes a contact with Venus, so we're talking about finances, we're talking about relationships, we're talking about self-esteem. So it's a really good time potentially to give your finances a good boost. So getting rid of things that we don't need anymore, and perhaps again aligning with what we want to manifest in terms of money. Also relationships. It's a bit more tricky with relationships because you might fall into the trap of having power struggles with colleagues or with romantic partners, etc. So watch out for that. Bit of power struggle going on.
We've got a dog coming now.
And we've got a dog coming now. But I think I'm just about done with the astrology for the night.
Hello, dog.
So work with that full moon. I'm just checking the time. So only 15 minutes to go until the exact conjunction between the sun and the moon. Perfect time for us to be
do our Galdr.
Chanting. Yeah.
Okay.
Brilliant.
Right. Okay. Now I'll find somewhere safe to put these runes and this little statue of Frey. Don't let me leave them there,
no,
Caroline.
I won't let you leave them. So the drum is just handy down here at our feet, and you can't really see it from the angle that we're sat in, but the sky is still really, really blue.
It is, but it is getting nippy now.
It is getting a bit cold.
Wishing
now,
I had my cardigan on now.
Yeah.
But okay, so let's invoke those energies of Ingwaz and
seeding new projects, fresh starts, new beginnings.
I was going to say, no, I won't say it.
Let's chant.
Yeah, let's chant before I say something I'm going to...
Inappropriate.
Yeah, okay.
That will shut the video down.
Okay, let's invoke the energies of Ingwaz.
I don't know what you felt that, but I felt it really strongly at the back of my head.
Did you?
Yeah. Is that odd?
No. I don't know. Yeah, I just I could feel the fire energy, and it felt to me, I don't know how to, it felt to me like something going round and round. So it was like I could feel this kind of energy building, but it was contained. It wasn't. It was very much kind of just going round on itself within a confine. Does that make sense? That's the kind of energy I was feeling. Yeah. But anyway, hopefully you at home, if you've joined us, well, we've all got to find out what we feel for ourselves, haven't we? Anyway, it's getting cold. We've been disturbed by dogs, Germans, and what have you.
Children.
Yeah. We come up here to escape from children. But anyway, we hope you've enjoyed our little chat about the new moon and Ingwaz or Ingwaz from the side of Glastonbury Tor. And we'll be back with Othala next time. I don't know where we'll be next time. We'll have a think about it.
Yeah.
And
also we have our fourth podcast on Othala coming.
we do.
And if you listen to our podcasts, I mentioned that I had a really good story for Othala that I can't wait to tell you about. But I won't do it on the video. I will do it on the podcast.
Thank you, Carolina. Thank you. I had a little story about Ingwaz or Ingwaz, which I'll just tell quickly.
Okay.
I said that this room is connected with Vanaheim, and how Vanaheim is connected with sexuality and stuff. Well, last year, a friend of mine, she did a shamanic journey to Vanaheim, and in this journey, she found herself having sex with this guy that she kind of knew, but he was like a friend of her brother. Anyway, she's now living in Devon with him. So, I just thought that was kind of funny, little anecdote about Vanaheim. So, yeah.
They're powerful things, runes, aren't they?
Yeah.
Powerful energies.
They are indeed.
We use them
So,
wisely.
If you do journey to Vanaheim, be careful what you do. Anyway, on that note, we will leave you, and we'll see you next time.
very soon.
Oh, and our podcast is AstroRunicast, which you can find on iTunes or our website www.astrorunecast.com. So anyway, join us next time. Thank you to everyone who subscribes. Please subscribe, please give us a thumbs up, and we'll see you next time.
We'd love to hear from you. See you next time.
Bye.
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 Bye.